Hi there, book lovers. Welcome back to another exciting episode of KSB's Book Review. The month of May has been packed with a whole lot of celebrations. The 1st of May was Workers' Day, then we had Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, all the amazing mothers out there. My mom, my aunts, my big mummies are out there. Happy, and all the mothers in the world, happy Mother's Day to them. And also, we also had International Boys' Day, a day where the boys could finally be celebrated. And then in a couple of days, we're also having Children's Day, and some of the preparations we've had in church, rehearsals, drama. The climax is tomorrow. So in a couple of days we are having Children's Day, and this month of May has been packed with love, holidays. So let's get right into today's episode. The book I'll be reviewing with you today is The Shack, written by Paul Young. Paul Young is a Canadian author who has gone through a lot of loss in his childhood and his early adulthood, but is enjoying wistful grace with his family in the north, in Poland. Yes, that's The Shack is about Mackenzie Phillips losing his having his youngest daughter being abducted, and finally finding out evidence that she has been brutally murdered. 4 years after, still going through the same grief of losing his youngest daughter, he receives a letter apparently from God that invites him back to the shack to open a lot of secrets and open a lot of closed wounds. This book talks about Mackenzie's journey on losing his daughter, finding God, finding religion after a long time of turning his back on religion, and finding out the meaning of true religion, helping his family get back on track to true religion, and getting a lot of revelations. He had a similar the way the book talked about it. He had a similar experience with Paul. He was not. It's just that the way God arrested Paul was not the way God arrested him. But like, he went to the shack, like God visited him in form of a man, in the form of a man, told him a lot of things, told him about a lot of people that were around him, that were in his family, and told him how much he loved him and how much he wanted him back to as his son, how he wanted him to give his life back to him. Very exciting book, very interesting book. The plot is very amazing. It's a it's a page turner for people who are trying to find out about true religion. It shows us what true religion really means, and it shows us Mackenzie's journey on how he finds out the meaning of true religion and how he turns his faith back to God. My favorite part in this book, one of the things that stood out for me in the book is the fact that they were able to put us in his shoes, the way he felt, the way everything was, when he was in the shack, and he felt this strong presence that he couldn't move because the presence was so strong. And hearing his voice, he could barely. It felt like hearing his voice. It felt like it was as if there was like a weight, heavy weight put on his body because of the sound of his voice. Yet it was so calm, so peaceful, so blissful. It had so much authority. It talked about how much authority God had in his voice, and yet it was still very calm, very peaceful. So one of the things I love about this book is the fact that we're able to see things from his eye. They described it to us like we're there. They described it to us like we're the ones narrating the story. When you read the book, it feels like you just put yourself in, just imagine yourself in that situation, in that scenario. That's just one of the things I loved about this book. That's my favorite part of this book. In this book, there were lots of vocabularies, but one of the words that stood out for me in this book was elunate, which means to be excited or pleasant. If you are My ratings for this book is an amazing read. This book is a must read. This book is a very exciting book. From the plot to the writer's style to the storyline, it's a page turner. Talks about true religion, gives us tips and tricks. It shows the personal experience of someone who lost faith in God, and how a personal experience with God brings him back to God's presence. How he's able to give his life back to Christ, even though it's at the beginning of the story. He lost his youngest daughter, having to deal with that pain, but still being able to be consoled, still being able to be compensated by God himself. Just an amazing story. This book is a must read, and I'm recommending it to everyone watching this video. So if you're in the library or going book shopping, do well to look out by The Shack by Philip Young. An amazing book, an exciting book. you don't want to miss it. This book is very exciting one, and if you're in the library or going book shopping, do well to look out for The Shack. Don't forget about the reading challenge. The reading challenge is still very well on. Yes, school is getting the most of my time, but I still have time to. I still find time. They say. You know what they say, right? When you love something so much, you find time to do that thing. If you love talking to somebody, you will definitely find time in your day to talk to that person. If you love reading a book, you definitely find time to read a book during your day, and that's just what I'm doing. I'm living with that. Even though yes, school is getting the most of me, I'm still reading. I'm still on the reading challenge. So I hope you're on the reading challenge. My mom is, she's quite ahead of me, and she's always rubbing it in my face. Oh, I read this book. You have not read this book yet. So just don't forget about the reading challenge. Make sure you have a friend or a group of friends that you're on the reading challenge with. And yes, till the end of the year. Also, add the number of books that you've read so far this year. This is May, the 5th month in the month 2025. We're going till December, and we'll start a new one next year. That's all for today's review, the review of Shack by Philip Young. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the comments. Let me know in the comments if there's any book you want to, if there's any book you want me to read, or anything you want me to talk about. Let me know in the comment section. Share the link with your friends, and always remember that readers are leaders who are way ahead of others. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.